get everything up and running here. And we'll see who's going to join us. We just lost our internet for a second, so hopefully we don't go down again. So let's wait to see who shows up on here. I guess we got a lot of domestic tourism going on right now in the Philippines. Let's first start talking about that. A lot of domestic tourism going on. It's pretty much all open everywhere except for a few places. They have a couple things going on, but basically, domestic tourism's all open. So let's see who we can get on here. We got some people showing up now, and got all messages visible. Who we got on here now? Let's see, hopefully we'll get like 100 people on here. Sorry guys, I'm a little bit late. Our internet just popped up at 10 o'clock, so hopefully we don't go down again. Let's see, we're up to 4 people so far. Wait a couple more seconds here to get some more people on here. And usually it pops up pretty quick. Let's see who we got on here. But yeah, we got a lot of things going on in the Philippines right now. I got a feeling like they're going to start opening somehow to tourists. The question is how and when, you know. But I think by Christmas time, we'll probably see some OFWs start coming in here maybe. I think they're going to start opening up to OFWs to let people back in to see their families and stuff. But as far as tourists go, I'm not quite sure about that. I don't think tourists are going to be till the beginning of the year probably. But I think Christmas time, we'll probably see some OFWs or something like that. Just a guess. How you doing, Jeff? What's going on? Let's see. Got 15 people on here. Who else we got on here now? Now we can get the show going. You guys can start shooting questions or whatever. Gurkha's on here. Good. Hopefully we'll get a good crowd going on here tonight. Get some good questions and stuff going on. But I noticed when I'm going through the malls, a lot more people out. And one thing I noticed the other day was that we're starting to see a lot of Caucasian people walking around. And I'm not sure where they're coming from because they're people that I haven't seen recently. So they're getting in here either on the 13As or they're getting in here on SRRVs. But not many SRRV people have gotten in here. Not as many as as far as like the amount of people that I've seen. So I'm thinking it's 13As or something. See, Apex is on here. Dickie Spaz says, good day, Steve. Daniel Narenberg says, how you doing? And Dan Murphy, hey, Steve, hello from Canada. How you doing, guys? What's going on? But, yeah, we were just out in the malls just now, and the malls look normal. With the exception of face shields and masks, it looks normal. I'm hoping that soon we can go into the malls and not have to wear the face shields and just have the masks on and then cut down on one more thing. That'd be nice. I'm sure the masks will be around for a while, you know, probably for another year. I'm just guessing. Maybe less. Hopefully in 6 months it'll do away with all that stuff. Let's see. Don Murphy says, hey, hello from Canada. We got a lot of Canadian guys on here lately. Marco Harris says, good morning, Steve. How you guys all doing? Let's see. Wayne Darvell says, hi, Australians can travel internationally but cannot get in Philippines. Nope, nobody can get in the Philippines, basically. Only certain people under certain conditions. Smoky Mountain Model says, good evening, Steve. Sounds like good things are starting to happen. Yes, absolutely. We're starting to see changes. The question is when we're going to see changes in the tourism, you know, when they have, you know, international travel. Hopefully that's going to be soon. Apex 512 says, would Cebu City be a good place to study hairdresser, basic, advanced, and find job as a hairdresser for a Panay girl? I guess. I'm not really that up on Cebu. I have friends of mine that live down there, but I mean, hairdresser jobs are kind of all over the place, you know, and they're everywhere, and it's not a high-paying job really. So, but yeah, I guess if she could probably get a job. Crypto Trucker says, "What's up? What's up, Crypto Trucker?" I see Sinful says, "Hello, Steve." Joe Porter says, "Good morning, Steve. I got my paperwork from Miss Mary. Just waiting for my SRRV visa now." So you got everything. You got in the EED and all that stuff. So that's what I'm guessing, I guess. So you got everything to get started. Just the list, I guess, right, Joe? That's what it sounds like. So you're getting the EED to get the 9A to get the SRRV. I'd be glad when it's just, jump on a airplane and just come to get your SRRV rather than all these other things. But Let's see. Roger Miller says, good evening, Steve. What is the COVID restriction status here in Cavite right now? I guess jeepneys just went 100% capacity. My girlfriend was just telling me. They just put it on the news today. So things are changing really, really fast. That's actually amazing that it's 100% capacity. That means you don't have those plastic things between you, I think. I think they're going to take all those down and we're going to go to 100% capacity. So there's big changes. Big changes. Fast, too. You can't keep on top of them. It's like you blink an eye and something else comes out. Let's see. Apex says, it might not pay high, but education is not so long. Yeah, I suppose if you look at it that way. You know, for hairdresser, yeah, you can definitely get a job somewhere. Gleason Baker says, hello, Steve. How you doing, Gleason? Let's see. Robert Hillier says, do you see many Americans who open businesses there? But business must be in the wife's name, correct? No, you can open businesses here on this, like I can, under the SRRV. I'm not sure about tourists. I'm really not up on those the laws for working here. I just know that the SRRV allows me to work here if I want to, and I can open a business. A lot of people open businesses under their wife's name. It just makes it easier because there's so many different little laws that kind of, you know, they just mess you up, and there's taxes and things like that. And as a tourist coming in here, no, you really can't start a business. You know, but as a 13A, maybe you can. I'm not sure. I don't know the rules for the 13As. I'm just not up on that. I know the SRRVs, we can do a lot of things over here because we're residents, and they just give us a lot more leeway. Let's see. Joe Porter, I can't follow all the moving pieces. I don't have a good understanding, but Mary gave me a list, and I sent it all to her. Okay. If you have any problems, you know you can call me, or you can email me at Stephen with a V 5975 @yahoo.com. Okay, Sinful says, Roger Miller, LOL, not much. I am guessing my wife running around with the family all over there. Paul, if a country is on the green list, are people from those countries allowed into the Philippines? Yes. No. Actually, this is the way it is. They're supposed to be allowed in here, and they can come in under certain conditions, but they can't come in here as tourists. So they can come in here like under 13A or something like that. But that can happen also from the U.S. and stuff like that. It doesn't really have much meaning, or it doesn't mean anything right now. That's why I don't talk about that much, because the green list doesn't mean squat right now until they open up, you know, the tourist visas. It's kind of funny the way things work. You have to wait. Those lists mean you have to be in quarantine longer, things like that. I guess I don't know. I don't follow that much because it doesn't mean that much, you know, to me. And for you guys, because you guys are all waiting to come in here on the tourist visas, you know, it really doesn't mean that much to you. So it's just kind of like it just doesn't mean that much to us, because America's not on that list, you know, and they're trying to get it on the green list, but China's on it. You see what I'm saying? It doesn't really mean that much, because everybody's not allowed in here on the tourist visa anyway. So, you know, what difference does it make? Let's see. Hey, Steve, have you found reputable specialists for prostate exams and also colonoscopy? I hope most older expats are keeping up with these. I have not. I had mine before I left. And actually, I never asked about that at the VA. It's a good question. But I'm sure at De La Salle University Hospital they have all that. I wouldn't even worry about it. Eventually, I'm probably going to have to go do all that stuff too. Arctic Braga says, hey, Stephen, greetings from Iceland. There we go. Any news on potential tourist travel openings? Sorry if this is a repeated question. No, nothing yet. We were just talking about the green list, how the green list means absolutely nothing to the people waiting in the United States, basically, and other countries. That's why I don't even talk about that stuff, because it's just a waste of time. Martin Harvey, hi Steve. The new rule for SRRV medical records, does this mean we have to supply a full life history, or only answer the questions? Whatever they asked you for on that medical form, and whatever Mary Rose asked you for, that's all you have to give them, and it has to be notarized. And then it has to be apostilled. So the change was that before you could come in here without a notary and without an apostle, okay? And you'd come in here and you could take the medical exam over here, okay? Now they want it done in the United States or whatever country you're coming from, if you're coming from Australia or the UK or whatever, and then it has to be apostilled and notarized, okay? And John Wales is in the house. He says, hello, everyone. Smoky Mountain Modeler, hello, John. Let's see. Brooke Schneider says, waiting patiently in Canada. Zzz. And Michael L. says, good evening, Stephen. So the medical has to be done in the States now. It has to be done, yeah, in your country of origin. And it has to be, it was always had to be done. It just didn't need to be notarized, Michael, and apostilled. Now it has to be notarized and apostilled. It said it on the document, but before they were letting people in and then let you get it over in the Philippines again. So you had to have the medical just to prove certain things so they could check, make sure you were okay. But it didn't need to be apostilled and notarized. The notary is the hard part of the medical because a lot of doctors are far away from a notary. Some of them are an hour and a half away from what I'm hearing from some people. And it makes it really difficult because you have to pay a doctor big money to go get that notary, and you can't get the apostille until you get the notary. Now, we're waiting. I want to answer this question a little bit more, Michael, because here's the thing. I'm waiting for this guy to get back to me, and I'm hoping he gets back to me. He said that you can put a document on the front of the paper once the doctor signs it, and you could swear that it's a true attest copy, and then you sign it and have it notarized, and then it goes off and gets apostilled. Now, we're not sure of this yet, but this is something we're looking into and to see if that works. And if it works, I'll let you guys know, and that way there, your doctor doesn't have to run around and do all the, the notary stuff. So, but a lot of doctors' offices, usually if they're in a hospital, they have they have notaries around there. So that's the good part about that if you go to a regular hospital, but some don't. So Dickie Spaz says, crypto is in a bit of a bull run at the moment. Actually, Tesla is. I've made a lot of money on Tesla, as you guys know. And this week has been a tremendous week for me on Tesla. I've made a ton of money. But on crypto, I switched into Shiba Inu, and it's kind of down right now. I'm hoping it takes off a little bit more. But I'm not really into crypto that much. I got a little bit in there just to play around with it and stuff, see what it does. James Corlew, greetings from Colorado. 60 days left to retirement, starting to get excited. There you go, James. Let's see. John Will says, Gleason Baker, hello, Mr. Baker. Dickie Spaz says, hello, John. Let's see. The Argendorf. Hi, Steve. Can you recommend me a good place where I can buy a good computer with reasonable price? Thanks. I don't know. I'm not. I buy a Mac computer. So I don't know. I don't buy regular computers over here. I would go to the Mac store. But that's just me. I like Macs. I don't like the regular computers. I just don't. I love my Mac. So Robert Hillier says, what age did you move there? 55. You made your retirement from the US. If you could have moved there in your 30s, would you have? Yes, probably. Would I have? I'm not sure. But I almost came over here when I was younger. I'm sorry, guys. Let's see. Gerald B. We just painted this table with varnish, and that's why I'm clearing my throat and stuff because it's bothering me. Let's see. Gerald B. Steve, what do you think about getting tickets for next July? I am married to a Filipino. Just wondering what your opinion is. Sure, I think by July we'll be open, but I wouldn't swear to it. I wouldn't bet on it, but I would say probably yeah. Yeah, Michael says Hertz bought 100,000 Tesla. Yeah, that's what boosted him. It wasn't just that. There's a bunch of stuff going on in Tesla with new ideas and stuff like that. And people are starting to catch on that Elon Musk is a really brilliant man. And he's using the company for other things. And there's always something secret coming out of the company. And it just blows the doors off other companies. And that has value. And that's why you can't put value on Tesla, because they have all these ideas. And those ideas are worth money. A company's value is not like it's brick walls and it's real estate, and it's its ideas too. I mean, and certainly Tesla is one of those companies that is really big on ideas. Apple used to be, and it's losing that touch now, but Tesla has definitely taken off. See, Wayne Darvell, sounds like the Philippines doesn't like tourists to come there, making it harder and harder. Maybe they want us to give up. I don't think it's so much that they don't want the tourists to come. I think they want them to come. It's the SRRV is getting really tough. They keep making people jump through hoops. It's just like whenever they get something done, they make it 10 times harder. And believe it or not, it has to do with some of the people that are putting in for the SRRV. They make things difficult too, because we had some people with the SRRVs that were, what they were doing is they were gonna come into the country, and then what they were going to do is cancel their SRRV because they thought once they come in on the tourist visa, which was specially approved to come in to get the SRRV, that they could stay for 36 months. Well, surprise, surprise, if you do that, you not only can you not stay, but guess what? You lose your application fee. So they thought they would get all that refunded. And these people were asking me about some of this stuff, and 7 people asked me, 7, maybe even more now. It was like at least 7. And I just hang up on them when they do that. I will not answer people like that because I know what their ideas are, but also the PRA caught on about that because I guess it was starting to happen. So that's what hurt people. That's why we always get extra paperwork in the Philippines, because of either people scamming the system, trying to beat the system or whatever. So Mark's son says, you said the police clearance is only good for 6 months. So I won't be able to get it while I'm still in the States. Can I get my police clearance in the Philippines? And if so, how? Well, first of all, you got to get here, Mark. Are you not explaining how you're going to get here? Are you coming in on a 13A or something like that? I'm not sure. If you're here, they'll do Interpol for you. Okay, the PRA will work with you. You just need to talk to Mary Rose. Let's see. Darren Cooper. I was just with him tonight. He says, Steve, you drink too many milkshakes. Thanks, Darren. You and me both. Let's see, RLV. I am seeing more foreigners around my areas of Paternos, Pasig, let's see, especially BGC, and some even driving. Yes, I see the same thing at the malls. I was over in Rosario today. I didn't see too many over there, but I have seen them in my mall. I've seen them in Dasma. I've seen a lot of new faces. I'll just say that. And I don't know how they're getting in here. They must be coming in on 13As or something like that, or maybe work visas or something like that. Let's see, KM says, you said in today's video, everyone in the family is expected to be there when someone's in need. As the American, does everyone expect you to be there with money? No. Some families might. Some of the poorer families and uneducated families might. But for the most part, no. They just expect you to help out a little bit. Okay, and a lot of guys come over here and they just shut off the spigot totally. And if other people are chipping in and you're part of that family, I think it's fair to chip in something. But it doesn't mean you have to chip in a lot. You can chip in whatever you feel like. And if they don't like that, then that's on them. That's the way I look at it. I'm lucky because I don't have that situation going on in my family. I help people in the family on my own, whatever I can afford. And that's the way it is. See, John Wales says, the Argendorf, I needed a new laptop. Cheapest I found was almost $900. I ordered mine from Lazada for $425. So far, so good. The $425 computers, though, I bought one like that, and I had problems with it. It didn't last that long. But it depends what kind you get, I guess. Andrew, hello, sir. I saw your video on being rich in the Philippines. Great video. Yeah, that video is actually really old, and it's actually the one that got me monetized, believe it or not. What is rich in the Philippines? It was actually one of my favorite videos because it was the one that got me monetized. And it actually got me all the views that I needed and everything. I think I'm up to like around 60,000 views or maybe even 70,000. I'm not sure. I haven't looked at it in a long time. See, Mark's son, and what about the medical exam? Can I get there if it is only good for 6 months? Yes, you can. It's good for 6 months, but you have to get in before that 6 months ends if you're coming over on the SRRV visa. If that's what you're talking about, I hope, because we don't have any tourist visas right now. So here's the way the SRRV, this is a retirement visa. The retirement visa works like this. First thing you got to do is get the entry document to get in, which is called the EED. When you get the EED, you have to put in for a 9A tourist visa, which is only good for usually 60 days, sometimes 30 days, but it's supposed to be for 60 days. And then you, you, once you get that, you get your ticket to go to the Philippines. It's a little bit harder than this. There's some other things involved, but I'm trying to, give you the Reader's Digest version. Then you come into the Philippines and you apply for your SRRV visa. And it's relatively quick once you get in, and then you just have to wait like 60 days or 30 days, whatever it is. The time changes all the time. And then you come in and it's done. It's pretty easy. Let's see, Andrew says, have you had any experience on extending your visa stay? I will be looking at March to ask for an extension as my 36-month stay will be expiring. Well, Andrew, here's the thing, okay? They said, now I don't have any experience in that because I have the SRRV. I can stay here forever. All I got to do is pay my $10 every year, and that's it. So I don't have any worries about that. So I haven't had any experience, but I know people that are going through this right now. Okay, and as long as the COVID is on us, the BI said that you could stay. As long as you can't come back in here on the tourist thing, they're saying that you can stay, but you have to pay the penalties. And then once everything is lifted, you have to pay the penalties and everything, or you should go down and talk to them about this, because this is the way it's going to work. And then you can go and then come back again once it's all open. But you have to pay the penalties, and the penalties they're not small. They're actually pretty good size from what I'm understanding from everybody. Okay, but that's what you have to do. They put that out a while ago. It's probably still on their page. Michael L says PC options in Gilmore Ave, New Manila, QC. Wayne Bicknell, hey Steve, always watch your videos, first time live. Been to PI many times, love it there, love the people. Retired in North Georgia, US now. Hope I make it back there. I hope you do too. I hope everybody does, Wayne. We'll see what happens, Red Ranger, have you been to the beach at Manila Bay? Yes, I have. See, since it's open, is the water still dirty there? Surely no one is trying to get in the water. Yeah, that water's pretty filthy there. I remember walking by there about 3 years ago, and the water smells like sewerage there. And it smells all the way over to the American Embassy. You can smell it outside there sometimes on a really hot day. You can smell it there. It depends on the way the tides are and stuff like that. But no, the water's not any cleaner there, really, to be honest with you. Things have changed during the COVID, but it's still dirty. I wouldn't swim there. KM says, I wonder if it would be better to wait until I'm in the Philippines and settled in before starting the SRRV. I'll say this. When all the things are lifted and, it'll be a lot easier because you don't have to get the EED, you don't have to get the 9A. It's just arrive, get your visa stamp, and then boom, you're in. Okay, so it makes it easier if you wait till after the COVID versus before, but you still have a lot of hoops to jump through, but it's much easier as far as the EED and all that stuff. But yeah, you can come in here now, but you're going to be doing quarantines. But eventually, I think we're going to be seeing those things lifted probably within the next, maybe within the next couple weeks to couple months, but I'm just guessing. But because of what I'm seeing around here now, I think things are going to start changing. But where those people come from other countries, who knows? It might be if you're from like a red country or yellow country, you have to sit in quarantine. If you're from a green country, you don't have to. But those green countries, nobody comes here from those countries. That's the problem. Look at those countries. They're all like African countries and stuff like that. Nobody comes here from those countries. And those are all dictated by who, by the way? The World Health Organization. So it's kind of weird. See, Mark's son says, moving to PI as soon as tourists allowed. I'm a vet and will be applying for SRV, expanded courtesy visa, so I only have to do the $1,500 deposit, but not applying till June when I start getting my pension. Mark, that'll probably be perfect for you because you won't have to do the EED and then do the 9A. You just come in the country and finish it. So just make sure you do everything right and you contact Mary Rose. And if you need any information on Mary Rose, you can contact me at steven5975@yahoo.com. Okay, and I'll assist you too. I'll send you ask me for my phone number too. Okay, steven5975@yahoo.com. And Steven is with a V. Let's see. Dickie Spaz says round trip from LAX to Manila with 90-day stay, $1,500 US right now. One way with 30 days notice are also about $1,500. In my opinion, That right there is going to cancel those on a shoestring budget. Yes, it definitely will, Dickie. You know, we have. If I was you and you're on a shoestring budget coming over here now, I wouldn't even come because everything's going to kill you. All the costs for the quarantine hotels and the food and all these. This is just too much. It's just too much stuff. You know. Let's see. Mark Sen says you said the police clearance is only good for 6 months, so I won't be able to get in while I'm still in the States. Can I get my police clearance in the Philippines? Let's see. You already asked that, I think. Unless this thing's shut. Okay, so I think I answered that one already. So we got somebody here from Taiwan. Hold on. Sinful says, Andrew, I'm moving to Salang. I already have a house there. KM, have you ever been to Bohol? No, I have not. What beach town would be a fun place to live? Batangas. It's a beautiful town. Very nice. A lot of nice hotels and everything. And also mountains to go mountain climb. If you're into mountain climbing, Batangas is the place to go, man. A lot of good mountain climbing there. Michael says, Asus for laptops. Build from parts for desktop, Windows, or Linux. Jeannie Torres is in the house. Let's see. She says, hello, Steve from Taiwan. How you doing, Jeannie? RLV, if you want a quality, reasonable price laptop computer, ask a local. Yeah, some of the people around here will build stuff like that for you. Andrew says, Sinful is great to hear. Salang is a great place to live. Good luck. Yeah, Salang's not that bad. I'm not a big fan of it, but it's okay. Let's see. The Arjun Dorf says, my husband got his 13A amendment for permanent, Steve, last Wednesday. Now the only thing that he needs to do is report every first 60 days of the year. That's cool. That's okay. Sinful says, Andrew, TKS, wife there already, and my new truck and the carport. Let's see. KM, would you tell your wife and family how much money you have saved? No. Not her family. I would talk to my wife about it, but I wouldn't talk to the family about it. But by all means, I wouldn't let them know how much you have. Would it cause a Philippine relationship to break apart if you said you want to keep that information private? No, I don't think so. It's not really their business. You know, it's not anybody else's business but you and your wife. That's what I think. You know, you don't have to give anybody an explanation about your finances or anything. Jeannie Torres, hello Steve. Is Philippines now is open for tourists? It's open for domestic tourists for sure. My American best friend wants to visit the Philippines by February. Is he allowed to enter the Philippines? No. Nope, not yet. Not until they open up the tourist thing. Nobody's getting in. They have to open up the tourist thing, and that's not open at all. Like I said, we have this thing where the people are on those green lists and stuff like that. That doesn't matter to anybody because nobody's coming in from those countries unless they're married to a Filipina or something like that. And nobody in those countries is married to a Filipina for the most part. Very few. Like they're countries like in Africa and countries that they're little tiny countries, and they really, not too many Filipinos are married to people from those countries. So and those people don't come here because they don't come here to work or anything. So that's why I say that those lists, they really don't matter until they open the tourist visa. Those lists won't matter to anybody in any Western countries, pretty much. So they matter to some people, but very few. Let's see. KM, is it easy to travel inter-island now for vaccinated people? Yes. Most places you can travel now. I think there's a few pockets here and there, but most of the places you can travel now to go on vacation. But you do got to be vaccinated, or you got to get swabbed and all that stuff. It's kind of ridiculous. You still got to show your vaccination cards just to sit in McDonald's. So we went to McDonald's today. We sat down. Before you sit down, you have to show your vaccine cards. If you're not vaccinated, man, life's going to be tough, for a lot of people here. And I don't know how long that's going to last. Hopefully that goes away, but I don't see any time that's going to go away soon. It's kind of like forcing people to get vaccinated. Gary, son of Larry, says no vax, no entry, plus pay for PCR test. Yes, that's right. Jay says, hi, Steve. Do you know the status of the high-speed rail that the Philippines is building? Has construction been full steam ahead? or stopped because of COVID. Would be nice to when completed. I haven't heard anything about that in a while. I heard about that in the beginning, but I don't know. I haven't heard anything about that. I don't see anything going on with that, to be honest with you, for high-speed rail. Let's see. Chuck Newcomb says, hey, Steve, Mary, Bohol is such a beautiful place. Yeah, it is. Maximus says, hello, Steve. Let's see. I like that name, Maximus. This is a cool name. Good Roman name. And then Proximo. Remember the guy that played, I think his name was Proximo. The guy drank himself to death, I guess, in real life. I forget the guy's name, but he drank himself to death during the filming of The Gladiator. I guess he had a drinking contest and he died. But he played Proximo, I think his name was. Let's see. KM says, suggestion for a surf town. I would like to, let's see, Surigao, I think it's called. I've never been there, but I know it's a surfer's paradise, and there's some places up in the east coast of Luzon that are surfing areas, and they're really good surfing areas too, I heard. So you got to do your homework on that one, kind of. Surigao, I think it is. Honey, is it Surigao where the surfers go?
Surigao is in Mindanao, and it's a nice surfing.
Yeah, Surigao is the place. Okay, and then there's places along the east coast of Luzon also. Okay. Let's see. See, Jeannie Torres says, oh my God, he is boring now. He wants to meet me and my kids. Okay. Jeff Beckett, what is the status of Starlink? You know, there was an article today on that. I didn't get to read it, and I guess the Philippines is looking into that. So that's a good thing. So let's hope that that works out, because you know what? I'm getting it. Even if I have to pay $500 up front and $100 a month, I'll get it, because you know what? Oh, just let's put it this way: 5 minutes before I was to go live, we lost our internet, which really stinks. You know, so if I ever lose you guys will know that I lost my internet. But yeah, 5 minutes before it was time for me to go live, internet goes down, and I'm like, oh man, you know, I'm not gonna be able to do a live stream tonight. So it kind of stunk. But then I was able to get on right on time. Let's see. KM says the green list is funny. American Samoa, a huge epicenter for travelers. Exactly. That's the thing. John Wales says, Steve, you have to show your vaccine card for McDonald's? Yes. Over in Rosario, John, we had to show it to sit down at McDonald's. So, yes. All the restaurants here, pretty much, if you're going to sit in there, you have to show your vaccine card. Carl Wilkinson says, watching from Belgium. So we got Belgium on board. Chinoy says, good evening, Steve. And to you all. Good morning also to you all from Los Angeles. There we go. We got a lot of people from the California area. It's kind of cool. And also Las Vegas, too. It's another one. Maximus says, Luzon. Yes, Luzon. Maximus Baylor is here, where they filmed the surfing portion of Apocalypse Now. Yes, and they that's how it all started there, I guess. Where they filmed Apocalypse Now, they left the surfboards behind, apparently. That's what I read anyway. Yeah, you're right. Now you just finished what I was just talking about. I didn't see the rest of it, but you had already put that. Yeah, that's true. You know, they filmed that other movie with Charlie Sheen too, right around here near Pagsanhan Falls, and I can't remember the name of it. I'm drawing a blank. I'm getting old. Jeannie Torres says, thank you so much, Steve, for the info. Have a good night. God bless. Thanks, Jeannie. Let's see, David Augustin. Hey, Steve. Keep up the great job of putting out the great content. Steve Ford. Hey, Steve. Was waiting for you. Restarted my computer, and now I find you. Snow in St. Moritz. There we go. That sounds nice. Edwin and Helen Byers. Watching from Louisville, Kentucky. There we go. Kentucky. So we got some Southerners on here. Michael L. says, Oliver Reed played Antonius Proximo. Died from a heart attack after drinking spree in Malta. Yes, exactly. That was he had that drinking spree with some of the cast members from The Gladiator. That's how that took place. That's what I read online. I read that a while back. Ronald D. Good evening from Middle Georgia. There we go. I love Georgia. Let's see. KM says, do you ever feel isolated when everyone in the family is speaking a language you don't understand? I can't answer that right now. No. No, sometimes yes. Yes, I do. Let's see. Kevin Nash's Kitchen. My girl is in La Union near the beach in San Juan, San Fernando. Many nice hotels and surf resorts. Just an hour up the mountains from Baguio. Win-win. Yes, definitely. There's a lot of good surfing spots around here. A ton of them, you know. And, you know, you just got to seek them out. But Surigao, it was one of the best ones I heard. And that place is really cool, too. The problem is it's so remote and there's not much in the way of emergency things like hospitals, things like that. There's not even much medical stuff there at all, from what I understand. That's the problem. So when you go to these places that are very remote, you're always in danger if you get hurt or sick or something like that. You know, that's the problem. George says, do you think China will invade the Philippines if there's a war with the U.S.? I'm not so sure they'll invade. I think that they will hit the bases with some sort of missiles or something like that. I do think that, just to scare the Filipinos and say, get the United States out of here again, we'll join with China. You know, but I don't know if I think the Filipinos won't put up with that. They will take whatever they got to take and be strong. You know, they're not going to give in to China, I don't think. Look at all the stuff that they've gone through already. They don't want to become part of China, I don't think. But that's what China thinks, I think. There's so many little tiny things. Like, China is really playing a psychological war here, really big time too. See, George says, let's see. John Wills, Jeannie Torres, good luck with the boring man. There we go. William Washington says, thanks for all the good information, Steve. Waiting for the reopening. See my girl in Mactan. And Maximus says, Surigao is the newest surf mecca. Yeah, I heard that. And they have like a lot of little hot dog stands and hamburger places and Western food. And they have burritos and tacos and chili and they have all that stuff there, I heard. And I was watching a video about that. It's pretty interesting. And it looks like a cool place to just go down there and just watch them surf. I think I'd enjoy it. I don't know if I'd ever want to try surfing again. I used to surf down in Charleston, South Carolina when I was a kid, and I used to love it. I used to have a longboard. So that'll tell you how old I am. So yeah, I had a big longboard with a Rebel on it, you know. So, and I bought it at it was like a thrift shop or something like that. And I said, you know, I'm gonna buy that. I like that thing. And I wish I still had it because that was a nice board. Edward Voss says, I am a new subscriber from Buffalo, New York, having my morning coffee. Thanks for the info. Thanks for joining us, Edward. Edward, by the way, quick question. They always say Buffalo has the cheapest rents. Is that true? Like, how much would it cost for like a one bedroom in Buffalo? I'm just curious. Because it used to be really cheap. You could buy houses there cheap and everything. Is it still cheap there to buy homes? Or has it gone up a lot? Just curious about that. See, we got 96 people on here, 32 thumbs up. Michael says, let's go, Brandon. There we go. KM, is Surigao an expert, difficult spot to learn? You know, from what I read online and what I saw about Surigao is this. Now, I'm not an expert to that area by no means, but they said there's different areas along the beach. So it goes from like mid-range to low, I guess. You know, and if you're there during a storm or whatever, then it gets to be like more expert stuff. So it's pretty good. But I mean, I've seen some guys, man, they got those waves. They're like, I don't even know how tall they are. They're huge in some places. I'm not even sure where they do it, but I've seen them on TV before when I was younger. And the waves are huge. But Surigao not like that. It's from what I've seen, it's decent sized waves. It's good. Brooke Snyder, Steve-O, is there good pizza place still open in Tracy? You know, S&R is okay. I want to talk about this for a second, Brooke, because this is an interesting topic. One thing I learned about pizza here is if you go to S&R, the pizza is very greasy. Now, their pizzas, I'm not going to say it's a bad pizza because it's not. But if you put it and you crisp it up in a toaster oven, their pizza tastes phenomenal. But if you hold on a second. If you put it in the toaster oven, it's excellent. It's just excellent. You know, it's an excellent pizza. But if you eat it there, it's kind of soggy and greasy and stuff like that. It doesn't taste good, you know? So, let's see. Darren Cooper says, thanks, Steve, for you and Mary Rose for helping me into the Philippines 2 weeks ago. No problem, Darren. Darren's one of the newest guys around here. He came in on the SRRV, and we've become really close friends and stuff. And we've been helping him find places around here, and he's just a really, really good guy. He's British, and he's from the U.S. too. He's from both countries. He's got the British passport, but he's got a green card, and just a phenomenal guy. We've become really close friends and stuff, and we helped him get situated. And I'm glad I got to meet him and Darlene, his girlfriend. So, and he's just a phenomenal person. He's actually going to do a video probably this coming week, I'm hoping. And he's going to talk about his experience as a SRRV holder, and he's going to tell that story. So I asked him to do that. So hopefully this week we can get that out. And I'm just going to let him do the whole video. So it'll be a little bit different for you guys not seeing me on there, because I'm going to let him talk and tell the whole story. And it should be interesting because he went through a lot of stuff to get over here. And he'll tell his story. Now it's not going to be the same for you guys what he went through, because he came from from Kuwait to Thailand into the Philippines. So everything that he says will be a little bit different than most people coming from the U.S. So just be aware of that when you're watching. So, but it'd be interesting to hear his story, because he's got a really good story to tell. Traveling Hobo says greetings from somewhere in Virginia. There we go. Crypto Trucker says driving through Bakersfield, California on my way to Charlotte, North Carolina. Wow, that's a long trip, man. Let's see, Charlotte. That's what we got one of our followers, one of our subscribers, Nathan. He's from Charlotte too, and he's also a trucker, by the way. Smoky Mountain Mauler, was that Platoon with Charlie Sheen? Yes, it was. That was it, Platoon. Yes, that was filmed right around here too. Not too far from here actually. The Argendorf says, Steve, have you been in any part of Bulacan? No, I have not. I've been down to Iloilo and Boracay, that area, and like in Luzon, quite a bit around here, and a little bit up north, tiny bit, but not much. So I haven't really traveled around, but I talk to people all over the place every single day, all over the place, So Kevin Nash's Kitchen says, nothing wrong with hanging out under the big covered outdoor bar and area and drinking and a tall, cool drink and watching the surfer people. Yeah, exactly. That's the life, man. Like just relaxing. So let's see. JM says, I was waiting for you, bro. When will you open the gates to the Philippines? I wish I could open the gates right now for everybody. Let's see. We got 99 people, 44 thumbs up. Thanks, guys. See, Darren says, also thanks to Badette. She and Darlene are good friends now. I'm happy to call you a true friend. Same here, Darren. I appreciate that, man. Let's see. Michael L. Shakey's is good. Yeah, it is. Shakey's is pretty good. Their pizza's a little bit salty, though. I noticed the one in Dasmer is very, very salty. I'm not sure why, because some of the other Shakey's aren't as salty. But Shakey's, the food is a little bit too salty for me. I'm a person that doesn't put a lot of salt on his food, because I think there's enough in there already. But when you have Shakey's, you could taste that salt. It's horrendous in some of the Shakey's restaurants. But I think that's a Filipino thing, because Shakey's never had that problem in the States. And Shakey's is all but disappeared now in the States. But I remember as a kid, it wasn't that salty. Chuck Newcomb says, what's the risk level of typhoons around Batangas? There's they get hit there, but they got mountains and stuff blocking things. I'm sure they get the waves and stuff like that, but they get the mountains there kind of protecting them a little bit. Batangas is kind of funny. But yeah, they get hit by typhoons and stuff there on occasion. Every place in the Philippines, there's a few places that don't get them, like Palawan, places like that, See, Maximus says, they say on Siargao the best waves are about half a mile or a mile offshore, and you have to paddle out or take a boat. There you go. See, Edward Voss says, about 750 plus rent for one bedroom. So it's even caught up there in Buffalo, because I used to think Buffalo was like the cheapest place to live in the States. So that's interesting. See, JM says Cambodia is opening November 32. Let's see, Nestor Beta says Ebnini, whatever that is. I'm not sure what it is, but okay. Red Ranger, once they let me in PI, I will spend a week in Manila, a week in Siargao, a week in Davao City, and a week somewhere unknown as of now, hopefully to be in before July 2022. You may want to check out this area here in the Cavite area for good rentals and cheap rentals too. Darren and I have looked at a lot of rentals this week, and I'm sure he'd speak to that too if he was here. But we've managed to see a lot of decent rentals, and fairly cheap too. And we were looking at a little like bungalow type place with 2 bedrooms in there the other day. They wanted 300, which I thought was a little bit steep because you can get a three bedroom, 2-story home for the same price. And I think you could talk them down to about 250. It's just that they see condo and then they jack the price a little bit. And they really jack it up by about $50 or $100 sometimes when they see you. It's best to have like a Filipino go out there and show you on camera what it looks like, and then get an idea that way. See, Michael says salt is good for the tropical heat, but it's not good for high blood pressure, Michael. That's a problem. I don't have high blood pressure, but my doctor seems to think that I do, and mine is it's like 10 points over the 120 over 80. And I told her, I says, well, from what I read online, it says with age that goes up, and I'm almost 60, so it's about normal then. And she says no. So she keeps telling me to try to cut back and stuff like that. Maximus says Philippines is going to see if Balikbayans will come home for vacation this Christmas with its quarantines. If there are a few Balikbayans, then they might do away with the quarantines. This should be interesting. I'm interested to see how this Christmas is going to take place here. I'm a little worried though for the tourists and for people that want to see their girlfriends that haven't seen their girlfriends in forever. Some people have actually given up on relationships and stuff. They've written to me and told me that they were giving up. And I wouldn't give up yet. It's so close. You're so close, man. Don't give up. It's not worth it. Thailand opening on Monday, JM says. Red Ranger, speaking of pizza, best I have found is Papa John's. I like Pizza Hut here. I mean, it's tried and true. It's good. Their pizza's excellent. I like Pizza Hut. Let's see. I know Papa John's is pretty good too, I've heard. And actually, here's a place you wouldn't think has pizza, but in Dasma, in Das Marinas, if you really want good pizza, go. It's not bad. It's not the greatest, but go to Kenny Rogers. Kenny Rogers serves pizza at the SM Dasma Mall, and they're quite good. And they have like one with jalapenos on it too. They have like a Philly cheesesteak, and that pizza is really good. I wish they put a little bit more steak on it, but it's still, the cheeses and stuff are great, but the steak they need a little bit more, but it's still delicious. You could probably ask them to put a little bit extra steak on there and just pay them a little bit more, but it's good pizza. Red Ranger says, let's see, no. Kevin Nash's Kitchen says, Detroit suburbs, it's difficult to get in a 1-bedroom under $1K. Just about like that anywhere in the nation now, I think. He's paying like $750. Well, if he was gonna rent one, it'd be $750 up in Buffalo, and in my hometown back home, to get a decent condo in Lawrence, Massachusetts, you're gonna pay about $1,000 to $1,200, maybe $1,400 for a decent 1-bedroom condo. It's pretty expensive. I mean, look what I'm getting here. I got a 1-bedroom here. We made it into 2 because the bedroom was so big, and I'm only paying $80 here. And we got Kenny and Nathan, who are coming here soon, and they got 2 apartments already rented here, and they're paying $80 a month. That's excellent. You got to admit. I mean, and they got it all fixed up, and it's ready to roll. Kenny's going to be here soon. He's coming in on the SRV. We might even do an interview with him. We'll see if he wants to do an interview. We'll try to do an interview with him. Let's see. KM says, would a few weeks in Siargao with a private teacher get me up on the board? Good teachers there? I'm not sure. I'm sure there are. I heard that there are people that will work with people there. I'm sure there's some people there that will probably show you for free. There's girl surfers there. There's Filipina surfers there. So I'm sure you wouldn't have a hard time. It's not that hard. You could probably teach yourself after a little practice. Just body surf with your surfboard, and then you'll learn that way. That's the way you start out. That's the way I started. Then you start moving up on the board and getting your feel for the board and stuff. But I had a longboard. It was much different than today's. Let's see. Ephraim Dunlap, what do you think about 2nd, 3rd week of January 22 opening? It's possible. It's very possible. Do I think it's going to open up that fast? I don't know. I'm thinking somewhere between January 1st and April 1st, you'll see an opening. That's my guess. But I also think it is still a possibility, maybe a 25% possibility, when we might open before the end of the year, in some capacity, not full capacity though. Okay, so let's see. KM says, how much cash would you bring if spending a few months there? I have a locked tote bag for security, and it rocks. Well, that depends if you're getting like an Airbnb and you're paying cheap money per month or whatever, or you're staying at a resort. I mean, I don't know what I don't know what your habits are, like what you eat or anything like that. It's kind of hard to say. I mean, I would take, if you're coming here on vacation, I would take about 3,500 a month. To be honest with you, I mean, if and stay at fairly decent hotels. It doesn't have to be like 5-star hotels, and you'll probably still have a good time. But yeah, about 3,500, 4,000, somewhere around there. If you're on vacation, if you live in here, you can live on a lot cheaper than that. But I'm saying you're gonna be living in restaurants and surfing and going places and traveling and maybe hiring cars. You'll probably go back with some money in your pocket still, but I mean, at least you're safe, and if you have an accident or something, you get some extra money. So Craig Jordan says, the Philippine Info Channel, what do you think of Greenwich pizza? I think Greenwich pizza is okay. I buy it once in a while. It's not my favorite pizza. It doesn't taste like a regular pizza for some reason. There's not much flavor to a Greenwich pizza, let's face it. I mean, the restaurant's okay. If you're hungry, it tastes okay. But I wouldn't go out there and brag about the pizza there. I don't think it's the best pizza in the world. I like S&R, but I don't like eating S&R pizza at their restaurant because it's too soggy. But if I get it home and I put it in the toaster oven and get it crunchy, it's excellent. It's really good. Let's see. Joe Davis says, getting burnt. Help PH. My God, your people are starving. I don't know what he's talking about there. Oh, he's talking about the COVID with the people starving. Yeah, they are kind of suffering over here. Kevin Nash's Kitchen says, unfortunately, Filipinos find Italian-style tomato sauces to be sour. I think that means acidic. Yes. Yeah, they don't like Italian sauces that much. They like sweet with sugar in it. Even their spaghetti, it's a sweet sauce. They don't like the Italian sauce. Their spaghetti's much different. Like if you go into Jollibee, it's sweet. It's not Italian. I like the spicy Italian spaghetti myself. BG Johnson says, what is the dating life for most expats? Do you see a lot of them getting scammed? No, not really. You got to be careful. And is it, what, let me say this about getting scammed, okay? One guy's scammed is another guy's giving, okay? One guy will give tons of stuff to his girlfriend and take care of his girlfriend, take her on a date and buy all kinds of stuff and wine and dine her and buy her watches and clothes and stuff like that. Won't even blink an eye even if he breaks off with her. Another guy, he'll buy her all that stuff, and then when he breaks off with her, all of a sudden he's telling everybody he's got scammed. So, you know what I'm saying? Like it's kind of hard to say what scammed is. I mean, I don't think most of the girls here are scammers. They're poor, okay, and they're trying to take care of their family and stuff like that. And some of them will hang out with expats and be their girlfriend or whatever, just to get what they need to help their families. And other ones will be sincere about it. I think the majority of girls over here are pretty sincere about being with an expat, but there are some scammers out there, and you got to be careful. And you pretty much can tell if a girl's a scammer, But I don't think most girls are scammers here by any means. Let's see, we got 114 people, 62 thumbs up. Thanks, guys. Dickie Spaz says, here in Phoenix, my house payment on 2,900 square feet is $1,700. It's a good deal. 2 of my kids renting 2-bedroom apartment paying $1,300. It is insanity. Well, over here, it's super cheap, but I mean, in the States, that sounds like it's not that bad compared to where I lived. That's actually cheap. When I was living in Lawrence, Massachusetts, and that's like I considered it a ghetto when I was living there. There was nice sections and bad sections, but it's not a nice town. JD, good evening, Steve. Waiting on my batch number for EED from Mary Rose. Getting very excited that it's progressing. That's good, man. At least you got a batch number, so you're all ready to roll soon. Next stop, 9A, and then you're out of here. But I mean, you still got to get the health pass, one health pass, and all that stuff done and all that. So you got to get tickets to get, quarantine hotels to book, things like that. I mean, a lot of people think that's easy, but it's not. It's hard, but you get through it. Maximus says, Steve, how do you get any private time with your girlfriend if her daughter is sleeping in the same room with just a partition of cabinets between your sleeping area and the daughter's? Well, I'm going to answer that, okay? Because I've had that question several times. I'm going to answer that for you. We have a white noise maker in the room, and it sounds like a waterfall in there. And you can't hear nothing in that room on the other side. Okay, it just sounds like a waterfall. Like if somebody's talking on the other side, you can hear them, but you can't really make out what they're saying or anything. It's kind of loud. It sounds like you're sleeping next to a waterfall. And we leave that thing going day and night because we're so used to it. It kind of gives you like a sense of peace when you walk in the room. It's kind of nice. The white noise machines are really, really good for sleeping too. Nothing bothers you. Like the roosters, dogs barking outside. If you have it loud enough, nothing bothers you. That's the good thing about the white noise machine, because you walk in that room and you almost feel like going to sleep as soon as you hear the white noise. It's kind of like, it just kind of makes it peaceful in there. It sounds like, like heavy rain outside, and you just feel like sleeping. It's just kind of a nice, peaceful sound. See, Craig Jordan says Filipinos have common ailments and hypertension and diabetes. I wonder if that is incompatibility with the Western diet. I'm not sure. The diabetes, I'm sure, has to do with the rice. Hypertension probably has to do with the salt content of the food. This food is very salty. Look at the dried fish with salt on it. I mean, all that fish is like covered with salt. Edward Voss says, I would love that $80 a month. I pay $1,200 right now. Some of those $80 a month apartments, are nothing to laugh at because, a lot of people think it's a joke or something, or there's a scam going on or something. It's like, no, man, that's the price of the apartments. They're beautiful. They're beautiful little places. I mean, I pay $80 for mine. They're beautiful, beautiful little places. I mean, if you rent those long term, you stick an AC in there and stuff, and just change the toilet and put a hot shower in there, you're all set to roll. You got a little hotel room there for $80. I mean, an AC doesn't cost you that much. I mean, if you stay there for like 3 years, you more than get your money's worth out of that place. And they're nice, they're peaceful. You put a TV up in there or something. You don't even need that. You put a little kitchen table in there. You're all set to roll. Refrigerator. Chuck Newcomb says April 1st. That would fit my timeline. I would need to get everything ready to make the move. April 1st is about the time when I came in here. The ticket prices actually go down during that time, Chuck. So you'd be lucky if they open up before then. There might be a flood of people coming in, but I think it would be a slow flood because right around that time is when the ticket prices come down a little bit. So, but I don't know if they open up around that time, what would happen, Craig Jordan, Smoky Mountain Modeler, good morning. How are you? JM says, I wouldn't bring a lot of cash like that. It's better to get money from the ATM once your boot's on the ground. Yes, I agree with that, JM. Just make sure you tell your bank before you leave if you're going to use your ATM. Make sure it's available. Make sure you can. Let me go into this a little bit further. We just did a story about a vlog about this the other day, JM. That if you're coming into the country and let's say your ATM gets locked, okay, you can always Western Union yourself money. And a lot of people don't think about that. You just need the IDs and you go in and you get the money. So you always have that other option. And I tell people, guys, always have the Western Union on that app on your phone as a backup, okay? Because you can transfer money to yourself and pick it up at Western Union. Yeah, there might be some cost involved. As long as you're not a cheap Charlie, you'll be fine. Because some people complain about the cost of Western Union, but you know something? Western Union can save you sometimes. I've seen people over here get saved by Western Union because when I tell them about that, I had one guy telling me, Steve, my ATM card's screwed up. It got eaten. Something, I forget what he said was what happened to his ATM card, but he was telling me about his ATM card, and he was telling me he needed money quick. How can he get it? And I told him, dude, it's quick. Just Western Union yourself some money. He had money the next day. So, I mean, it's not that hard because you can Western Union your girlfriend or whatever. She can pick it up, So Smoky Mountain Model, or you can do it to yourself. They will let it go to yourself. Smoky Mountain Model, doing good, a bit busy with the move. Let's see, Red Ranger says, I don't see many Filipinos going back home for Christmas. The quarantine is the deal killer. Yeah, that's the problem, but I think that's gonna disappear. Let's see. Katrina Kopp says, I lived in Lawrence on Prospect Hill. You and I are the same age. Did we go to any schools together? Rollins, Oliver, Lawrence High? I've actually worked at some of those schools, Katrina. I used to be a school safety officer. I've worked in all those schools, like temporary or full time sometimes. I didn't work in the Rollins or the Oliver. I worked there temporary at both those schools, and that's about it. Lawrence High, my friend works over there. I worked at the South Lawrence East School, and I worked at the Tarbox School and the Partham School. Those are my main schools that I worked at. You know. Let's see, Jack Iceman, have you spent any real time on other islands? Have you any idea what the rents are on the other islands where there are smaller towns? You know, as you get into those smaller towns, you can get cheap rents there. But here's the thing, you're not close to anything. I tell people if you're gonna go to a place, another island, at least be close to a town where you have some sort of, emergency places around there, like at least some sort of medical center or hospital or something like that. Because some of these other islands, and the smaller towns, it can be dangerous being out there. If you get hurt, you have something happen to you, you have a heart attack, you're dead. And as a retiree, you really have to think about that, because a lot of us that, especially on this channel here, we have a lot of retirees, they're 55 and older, and that's the problem, is we have to keep up on our health, but not only that, you have to plan if something happens. That's the biggest problem. Let's see. John Wales says sweet sauce and hot dogs cut up in it. Let's see. KM, I was in New York City during 9/11 in Haiti when the government was overturned, and I've learned that ATM machines are not always reliable. No, they're not. But if you lose I'm not telling people to, like this guy was saying, don't take too much money, use your ATMs. Yeah, you should have some backup money with you all the time, at least like $1,000 or more on your person or hidden on you in a money belt or something like that. A money belt looks just like a regular belt. I mean, you fold up your money and you put it in, and you can put $1,000 in there. You won't even know that you're carrying it, and then don't touch that money and just use your ATM or Western Union yourself some money. Just make sure you have IDs. But if you lose all that stuff, at least you got $1,000 in your belt to fall back on, So, and make sure you always keep a passport ID card. The passport IDs that the U.S. puts out. I don't know if the other countries have them. If you're coming from another country, check and see about that. See, Brooke Snyder says, Steve-O, do a lot of mall stores and restaurants accept Visa and MasterCard for payment? Most of them do. Most of the restaurants will. McDonald's, places like that don't. But yeah, most of the restaurants do. Like KFC usually doesn't. Some of them will, some of them won't. Okay, it's spotty. It's like here and there they will accept it, and some places won't. But yeah, I mean, like the big restaurants, like Texas Roadhouse, places like that, yeah, they'll take it for sure. In fact, Brooke, when you get here, we'll go up to the Mall of Asia. I'll take you up there. We'll go up there and I'll show you some of the restaurants up there, and I'll introduce you to the BFF card. It'll save you about 30% on all your restaurant food when you go up to Mall of Asia. And it also saves you like 250 pesos off your order too. Plus, every time you walk in, they give you a free cup of coffee or tea, whichever. So as soon as you sit down, they give you a cup of coffee for free on the house with that card. It's kind of a nice thing because it saves you 30%. Now, if they have any special deals, like a 2-for-1 deal, then that 30% doesn't come off. It doesn't work that way. But it'll save you on regular orders there. So it's a good deal. I'll show you when you get here. I'll teach you about it. The traveling hobo, that banana ketchup has got to go, not for me. Yeah, I had some of that one time. It's just, I don't know, I'm not too keen on that. I like my tomato ketchup. See, Craig Jordan, Smoky Mountain Mauler. Move, are you immigrating to the Philippines? Oh, he's having a conversation here. Kim, interesting that China is on the green list. Yes, it is. That's kind of funky. But that's who? It's the World Health Organization who's doing that. See, Michael L. Filipinos have a sweet tooth, which makes Italian dishes hard to find. Yes. You can get Italian food. You can get Italian food up at the Mall of Asia, and you can, and they have a really good place. It's right next to Texas Roadhouse. It's a really good place, too. They have pizza and everything there. I'm not sure about the Hard Rock Cafe, if they have any Italian dishes there. But there is an Italian restaurant right next to the Texas Roadhouse in the Conrad building. Let's see, Kevin Nash's Kitchen. They used to sell that Chef Boyardee brand stuff in a can with pasta and hot dogs. Kids loved it. Had sugar in it, probably. Probably, yeah. I remember that stuff when I was a kid. I hated that stuff. It was too sweet, you know. Red Ranger says, once the country opens up for tourism, do you think the clubs will open back same time, like Cowboy Grills and Patty's Point in Manila's area? Yeah, Patty's Point, man, has been closed down forever. It's not a place I went to, but I noticed like most of them are closed. They're all boarded up. I think some of them are closed down for good in some areas, in Alabang and things like that. It looks like they might be closed for good. I'm not sure. But there's a couple that look like they'll probably open once this is all over. It'd be interesting to see what happens. But yeah, I think those places will open up sooner or later. So I hope. I mean, it definitely takes some fun away for some expats by not being able to go out and have a drink and dinner or something like that, or go out clubbing or whatever. I'm not that. I don't like to go out clubbing. You know, it's not my thing. But you know, once in a while, I'll probably go out with friends or something. But all that closed down. We were talking about going out, and then all of a sudden this happened. So we got two friends of ours, and they're always talking to us about going there, and then this happened. It was just, you know, kind of devastating because we haven't been able to do anything now for almost 2 years, it seems like. Let's see. Michael says, Jollibee spaghetti is an abomination. Sinful says, the housing market is cooling a little. I got my house sold just 15 days ago, made 90% profit in 11 years. Now, that's pretty good, man. Sinfuls. You know, I bought a place for $85,000, and 2 years later, I sold it for $215,000 in Lawrence, Massachusetts, and I only had to put like $10,000 into the place. And when I moved in there, it was beautiful. The whole place was beautiful. It only needed a roof. That was it. You know, John Wales says, Craig Jordan, 2 thumbs up. Let's see. Smoky Mountain Model, I wish I'm moving to cheaper digs and putting in the extra towards my trip there in 10 months. Planning on retiring there. Let's see. Traveling Hobo says, my wife loves Jollibee. Yeah, my girlfriend's not too keen on Jollibee. She doesn't talk too much about it. My daughter, she likes it. She likes eating there. Let's see. Stanley Wolf, is marrying a Filipino as good as getting a SRRV? I don't know. It depends on the Filipino, I guess you could say. You know, but the SRRV certainly gets you in the door. It's not a SSRV. It's a SRRV. So, but the SRRV gets you in the door. That's when all the fun starts. And like I said, the first month is the hardest. So, see, Michael L. Salt content can be compensated for by losartan. Okay. Paul Gibson, do you know how the vaccine rollout is going for the people in the isolated areas? Are they getting help? You know what I heard, Paul? This is what I heard the other day, and this was in the news over here. They said they sent nurses out going door to door, and they were having a hard time convincing the people that lived in the isolated areas to get the shot. And that was due to the dengue vaccine before, where people died. So a lot of the people in those areas, they're less educated and things like that, and rumors pass around and things like that. But you know, I mean, rumors are passing around in educated areas too about that. I mean, I'm not pro-vaccine or against vaccine. In fact, I didn't want to get the vaccine because I didn't like what was going on with this vaccine. I still don't feel comfortable with this vaccine. But yeah, so those people, that's why they got ticked off, because they were used as guinea pigs at one time for the dengue vaccine. And that's what they were used for. They're basically the beginnings of a test for the dengue vaccine. Then the kids died. Atomic Vagrant says, is there a large open air fruit and veggie market in Tracy Mart Terrace? Yes, there is. It's under a roof. And it's kind of nice. It's actually nice there. They sell fish, meat, veggies, just about everything. KM, 3 things I would avoid when renting an apartment there based on your videos. Dogs, roosters, and karaoke. You know, it's kind of hard to get away from all of that. And I just put a 9-volt battery in my dog thing outside. And it keeps the dogs from barking, but it takes like about 3 to 7 days for it to work. And the battery dies after about 2 weeks, and you got to buy another 9-volt battery. But it does work. It's not going to calm them down 100%, but it calms them down probably about like 80 to 90%. Okay, but when people come, they are going to bark. But at least they won't be, you know, woof, woof all night long. So, and the roosters, either you got to talk to your neighbors about that, or just throw them some money or something like that and say, hey, you know, would you be willing to get rid of the roosters if I give you this much money? Some of them won't, because they're prize fighting cocks. So you have to be careful you don't move to somebody that has prize fighting cocks. And you kind of have to adjust to life here in the Philippines. That's why some people will move away from that and they'll get far away from that. You know, they just do. They'll move to a building that they're not going to deal with any of that, like a condo or something like that. So, but then you deal with other things, cockroaches from your neighbor or loud neighbors or music in the building, things like that. You can have those problems, slamming doors, all that. You're gonna hear that. So it's not quiet here in the Philippines. If you're looking for peace, the Philippines is probably not your place. Even out in the provinces, it's still noisy. If you got neighbors near you, it's probably going to be noisy. They get up at 4:30 in the morning, some of these people. See, Michael says, Trump and DeSantis. I like DeSantis. He's a cool dude. Trump has his issues, but I like him too. He definitely has some issues, though. I wish he could make friends easier, but he doesn't. He's so controversial. But as far as his politics and stuff like that, I like what he represents and stuff like that. I just don't like the way he handles other people sometimes. Kevin Nash's Kitchen. Yes, your place would be a kitchenette type size hotel room in Florida going for $125 per day in off season. Probably, yeah. Steve Ford says, Steve, one bedroom in St. Moritz is 2,000 CHF a month. Let's see, $2,200. Yeah, it's expensive there in San Moritz. I know that's an expensive area. Let's see. Jay says, I paid $2,150 for a 750 square foot, one bedroom in Santa Barbara about 5 years ago. Man, that's expensive. But it's California, man. Ryan on Wi-Fi says, are there jobs for young expats in Manila? I want to move to the Philippines once borders open. You really can't work here unless you get a working visa or something like that. But for young expats, I don't know. Would you want to work here for $250 a month or $350 a month or $400 a month? Even with the education, you're not going to get paid much here because even somebody with a college education doesn't really make that much more. Martin Harvey says, Steve, could you put the white noise machine on some time? I'm guessing most of us have not heard one. I think it would get taken out because I've done videos in the room with the white noise machine on, and some people say they can hear it and some people say they can't hear it. So I'm not sure why. I don't know if my thing takes it out. This little thing here, I think it takes the noise out, noise canceling or whatever. Let's see. Ryan on Wi-Fi, are you willing to work as a cheap Filipino? There we go. John's going to give him a schooling. Let's see. Average salary is $240 per month, 12-hour days and 6 days per week. Exactly. Let's see. Michael says, Ryan, if you have skills and have connections, better to have online contracts with firms in the States, EU, or Singapore. You could teach online, but that's getting harder and harder every day. Steve Ford says, Steve, my girlfriend was told by BDO to do bank-to-bank for her credit history. What will she gain from this long term? You know something? I don't think that will help your credit history. I don't see how that will help your credit. I was thinking about that. I don't know if it was you or somebody else that mentioned that today in a comment or something somewhere. I saw it. I think it might have been you. But I don't think that'll help your credit history. I've never heard of that helping your credit history. At least in the States it doesn't. I'm not sure about the Philippines. I don't think it would, though. See, Dahlia Ford says, hello, watching from Seattle. I usually goes home to visit every January. I won't visit until it's totally open. Not big fan of quarantine. Okay, let's see. Roger Smith, it says message retracted, so I can't see that one. Michael L says, Steve Ford, that is not how credit bureau in any nation works. Only credit cards issued in the nation you want the credit history and works to build credit. Yeah, that's what I thought. I don't think wiring money or anything helps anything. I've never heard that one before. Kevin Nash's Kitchen says, you can send a Capital One ATM card in your name to your girl and use Venmo to keep it loaded. Okay. Mine works fine in Singapore and the Philippines. That's interesting. Kevin, do me a favor. I don't know if you have my email. Can you send that to me at Steven5975? Send me what you just told me. Steven5975 at yahoo.com. I want to remember that one. If you send me an email, I might put that in one of my videos. That's interesting. That's a good thing to know. Ryan on Wi-Fi. He says that John Wales, I would. Michael L. Steve Ford, mortgages hard to get in the Philippines. Yeah, they are, but they actually forge work documents in the Philippines. It's quite common. Alerfa Luminosity says, hello, Angie here. What do you think of Mactan Newtown to retire? I'm not that familiar with that area, so I really couldn't tell you. Let's see. Just the Bill O2 says, notice any difference between accepting Visa, MasterCard? I noticed, this is what I noticed about Visa and MasterCard over here, okay? I noticed that there's a lot of different fintech coming up, like PayMaya, things like that. And a lot of these places want you to pay by that. So, and it's like, I looked at a window of Western Union today, and it had about 10 different types of fintech on there listed. It was really interesting, of all these different things that ways you can send money and stuff like that, and you could pick it up at this particular place. So a lot of places now are using all this fintech, and a lot of this fintech, they're taking cryptocurrency and changing it over to whatever currency you want or whatever. They're doing all kinds of things with fintech now. It's amazing what they're doing. Even PayPal now has cryptocurrency on there. So I mean, that's what I'm saying. There's so much stuff going on with fintech now. It's amazing. And it's hard to keep up with. And I kind of worry because when you're talking about cryptocurrency, you're also talking taxes. And if you can't keep track of that stuff, because you have to keep track of that to be able to pay taxes on it, because you have to pay taxes if it's over a certain amount or whatever. So you got to be careful of that stuff. See, KM says, expats often brag about what they used to do for a living. I don't like to brag, but I was a VP corporate stooge, desk pilot, top paperwork generator. There you go. Hey, at least you're honest, you know? So, at least you're wearing a Navy SEAL, you know? So, because we get a lot of those around here. Let's see. Free. Got hacked into my account in Ecuador for $2,600. Glad I had a cash stash. Had to get a new card sent. Man, that sucks, huh? $2,600. That's a lot of money. Michael Stewart says, flow died money here was hard to change in bills with any marks whatsoever. They won't exchange. Yeah, if it's folded too much or if there's a mark on it or a small slight tear, they won't exchange it. It's a small slight tear on a $100 bill, they wouldn't take it. No, it's a $20 bill. They wouldn't take it, you know. See, Steve Ford says, Mike, I will sell my house in France next year. Was thinking if I need to borrow, could use as collateral. Let's see, Free is the name, and he says, U.S. Bank refunded my money that was stolen after 2 weeks. Well, that's cool. Maximus says, North Korea is also on the green list. There are even Filipinos in that hermit kingdom. Are there even Filipinos in the hermit kingdom, he asks. No, I don't think there are that many, if any at all. I never heard of a Filipino going to North Korea because it's a very hard country to get in and out of. So people go there, but most people don't want to go there. Let's see. William Washington says, Steve William from Philly, can I get my BP blood pressure meds when living in the Philippines at the pharmacy? Yeah, you should be able to get them over here. Most of them is not a problem. It's not really that big of an issue. You can check on Watson's and Mercury Drug. Watson's drug and also Mercury Drug. Check those two stores. You can go online and find out what they have. Watson's is good and Mercury is good. Mercury's a little bit, I wouldn't say they're cheaper. They're both probably about equal each other. They're probably about the same. They're both good stores though. Let's see. William Wilkins says, good evening from Palm Bay, Florida. Sorry about joining late. No problem, man. Kevin Nash's Kitchen says, say panda with no R on the end. I say panda with no R on the end. Let's see. Kevin Nash's Kitchen says, kidding. Let's see. Katrina Kopp, my wife is from Cavite, and although beachside is my ultimate goal, your channel has got me thinking Cavite area might be good for us for at least first year. I enjoy your channel very much. Thanks, man. I really appreciate that. So, Cavite, let me tell you something. Cavite, as you get closer to Batangas, it's really beautiful. Okay, they get some really nice areas down there. And as you get into Batangas, which is a different area, It's beautiful there too. Now, the prices down there are probably a little bit different, okay? And you're not gonna be around hospitals and things like that. But I tell Cavite because it's kind of like a central point and a good location because the rents are cheap. You can still go up to Manila, be close, and you're still near hospitals like De La Salle University Hospital. You're still near Tagaytay. You're not far from Batangas. There's a lot of different places you can go, and and that's the great part about living here, So, just a bill '02 says I know they have a separate SRRV for veterans, but do they have a SRRV for pirates? Yeah, there we go. Jay Bailey, Steve, do a vlog on items, electronics, and stuff that you need to bring that are a must. Thanks. Compiling my list for my whiteboard. Everybody has electronics choices, so I really never did anything on that much. You know what I took here that was electronic? Was a Tivoli radio. It's my favorite radio. It's not a stereo or anything. It just has it has a wooden box that surrounds it, and it just sounds nice. It has a very rich sound in it, and I love that radio. And that was the one thing that I took, and I took a laptop computer and an iPad and my iPhone, and that's it. That's about it. I didn't take that much electronic stuff. That was about it. I wouldn't, and everybody has their favorite type of computer and stuff like that. So I mean, some people might like a Mac, some people, but phones, some people like the Android. My friend Darren, he's new here. He likes the Android, and I like the iPhone. We're opposites as far as phones go. But I mean, he swears by the Android, and I swear by the iPhone. So we'll see how he likes it over here, because a lot of people, Androids are kind of made for the Philippines more. But there's just something about the iPhone that I like. I don't know, there's something about it, the quality of it and stuff. I just like it. Because a lot of people back in the States have iPhones. It makes it easier for me to FaceTime them and stuff. So, because that's why I like it, because my sister has it, so it just makes it easy. Driftwood Smitty Asia says, hey, Steve, my girlfriend in Lapu Lapu says the locals are talking about foreigners allowed in December. Well, let's hope so. Let's hope so. Michael Woodall says, good evening from Mike in Northern Ireland. How you doing, Mike? Welcome aboard. I think you've been on here before. I recognize your name. Crypto Trucker says, I don't know if the scamdemic will ever end. I was going to retire early, then all the BS started. Yeah, I mean, but think of it this way. You saved a lot of money. So that's the good part. I hope you did anyway. Hercules Journey. Crypto Trucker, be grateful you're not 20 during this. Haha. I see John Wales says, I don't think you can get away from the roosters in the Philippines. I've gotten used to them. Yeah, we don't have roosters around here. We have them out back, and I can't hear them in my room. And with the white noise machine, you don't hear that many roosters. You can download the app for white noise. They're free. Some of them are free, and some cost like 99 cents or something like that. And you can put it on your speaker, and it just makes that white noise all night long, and it helps you sleep. So, and it doesn't block out rooster noises if they're right underneath your window, though. But you can turn it up really high, and you can probably almost tune it out totally. But you have to be able to tolerate more white noise. But you can sleep through white noise because it doesn't bother you. See, Kevin Nash's Kitchen says, could you do me a big favor if you go to a restaurant that uses a smoker to do barbecue ribs or chicken? Ask them what wood they use in the smoker. Not grilled, but a smoker. I've never seen that with a smoker. I see grilled. Most of the time they just use gas. They use hickory smoked barbecue sauce, so they get the hickory flavor in it. That's what they do. They don't usually smoke it. See, Edward Voss, Driftwood Smitty, I stayed a few days in Lapu Lapu in 2015. Ephraim Dunlap says, Western Union, $5 cost. Great idea. That's the way to go. Yeah, a lot of people complain about Western Union for one reason or another, because if you send so much money, they cut you off after a while. They cut you off for one thing or another. But if you're not sending huge amounts of money, then you're fine. And I don't send huge amounts of money. I send a little bit to my girlfriend, and the rest I take out with my ATM card and stuff. So it works out fine. Let's see. Kevin Nash's Kitchen. You could build a place near farm fields and maybe get a few 100 meters away from roosters. but then you deal with the rodents and fires they burn to get rid of old crops. Yeah, they burn stuff. That's the problem with living out in the provinces too. They have a lot of problems, you know. Rick P says, is there a large LGBT community in Tracy Martires? I think it's large all over the Philippines, to be honest with you. I mean, I have some friends of mine that are gay, and I don't have a problem with them. You know what I mean? I mean, they don't bother me. I mean, there are some people at some of the stores here, they go a little bit over the top with it, and it makes you feel a little bit nervous when you walk up to them and they come over to you and the way they talk to you. They kind of make you feel uncomfortable, and it's very unprofessional the way they act. I'll just say that. It's almost like they're trying to see if they can get a rise out of you because you're a Westerner, so they can try to, you know, complain about you or try to see what the way you're going to react. And I just walk away, you know, because there's people, most of the people over here that are part of the LGBT community are decent people. They don't bother you. They're very, I mean, I have to commend them for that. And then there's just like a few that are like over the top, and that's what bothers me. And like I said, I have friends that are part of the LGBT community, and we love them because they I mean, in fact, I'll see them this month. They'll probably be having Thanksgiving dinner with us. You know, I don't have any problem with those people, so it doesn't really bother me. But yeah, I mean, we have a good sized community here in Tracy Martires and just about anywhere in the Philippines, I would say. You know, so except in the Muslim areas, there's not too much. But I hope that answered your question. Let's see. Mary says, John, can you teach English in PI or maybe online? Yes, you can. You can teach online. But it's getting harder and harder, Mary. It's not easy anymore like it used to be. You know, it's very difficult. Sinful says, I have a Visa card attached to my crypto. Yeah, that's a good thing to have too, you know, as your Visa card or whatever. Philip Jones, you said before you can live there for $800 a month, and I understand you have done that for a short time, but retirement, that's changed now. You could live here on I've always said you could live here on $800 a month. And I know at one time I believe I probably even did a budget for that. And that's if you're single and but now I don't think you could, you'd be hard pressed to do it. There's a guy who lives in 500 south of here that I heard about, and you know something, you living on $800 a month, you're not living. It's not a good way to live, and you're probably not going to have any health insurance or anything like that. You need at least $1,200 a month now, I would say, to be safe. I hope that you know helps you out, Philip. I wouldn't come over here on $800 a month. You could live. You could probably live in my area. You'd be eating spaghetti every day, and you know you probably wouldn't have AC, things like that. But it's not living. You know, it's existing. You know, and your electric bill alone, even without AC, is probably going to cost you about $20 a month with a refrigerator, lights, things like that. You know, roughly. Your water bill is probably going to be about $5 to $10 a month. You know, then you're going to be traveling around. You're going to want to go out once in a while. You could do it, but it's hard. You're not going to go any place. And, you know, if you have an emergency, I hope you would have an emergency fund in case something happens. You know, if you get sick or something on the 800. But so we got 130 people, 95 thumbs up. Thanks, guys. So you talk to Gio in the Philippines about Mactown, Newtown. Let's see. Michael L., they want to use neo-fintech like PayMaya is because the merchant fees are lower on the back end with the traditional credit card. Let's see. Michael Woodall says, do you know of any guys live 6 months in the Philippines and 6 months at home? I'm 64 and thinking I'm getting too old to live in the Philippines full time. Yes, Michael, people do that. There are some, but with the COVID, that's kind of shut them down. Matter of fact, there's a lot of people locked out of the Philippines because of that were doing the 6 month routine. There was people doing that because I had people tell me that. Let's see. John Wales says, Mary, maybe. He's talking about the jobs online here. It's kind of rough though now. It's changing. YT Flavor, I've been in North Korea on a tour from South Korea. Very interesting. Joe Davis, thought I did good in Myrtle Beach. Bought a new construction, $275,000. Lived in it for 22 months, then sold for $325,000. Not bad in 22 months. That's not too bad. See, KM says, good idea. I heard have your girlfriend buy a house in her name to borrow the money, and you agreed to pay the mortgage for as long as you're together. Actually, that's not, I never thought of that, but yeah, if you could do that, yeah. But she'd have to have a job. Most of the girls here, when they're with a expat, they don't have a job. That's the problem. But if your girlfriend has a job, yes. Stanley Wolf, you can take damaged bills and marked bills to BDO Bank or the Bank of Philippines. They will exchange, but be prepared for a long wait. That's interesting. I didn't know that. I think that's probably at some BDO banks, because the BDO banks here, like in Dasma, they're pretty hard ass on a lot of things. So I think that's bank to bank, because each bank manager, some of the bank managers don't even know their own rules here. They really don't. I was just talking about that the other day with the BDO. You go walk in one BDO branch, it's one rule for Westerners, and another bank, it's another rule. You know, they certainly make you jump through hoops. It takes about 2 hours to open an account at any BDO. And I had to open 2 bank accounts, my security, and then I opened one after. Both times it took about 2 hours. Let's see. John Wales says, Michael Woodall, I met an expat that spent the summers in Alaska and the winters in the Philippines. Actually, we have a guy in Alaska. He's talking about coming here and doing that too. Katrina Kopp, yeah, but Batangas has the volcano, right? No, it's that's Tagaytay. Tagaytay is like north of Batangas. But yeah, it's pretty close, but it doesn't affect Batangas at all. I'm not sure if Tagaytay is actually in Cavite or not. That's a good question. It's pretty close to Batangas. It might be right on the border. John Wales, Stanley Wolf, I also found that Save More customer service would take the ones that everyone else kicked out. Save More, okay. Doug says, great home bargains to be had in South Buffalo. Okay. So that's the part Doug, what are you talking about for like rents in South Buffalo? Darren Cooper says, iPhone sucks. Thanks, Darren. We were just having this conversation tonight earlier in the car. So, Kevin Nash's Kitchen. Oh, don't have to join or gift button thing. So rely on AdSense. Have to watch more ads for you. There we go. Yeah, you guys don't have to gift me or anything. We don't have any, I don't know, what do they call that thing? Like the gifting thing there, and then they have the other thing. We don't Patreon, any of that. All I ask is people watch my ads when they watch my videos. It makes things simple, too. And also it takes a lot of stress off of me, because you don't get called a e-beggar or something like that. Because, as long as people watch my ads, it keeps me alive, keeps me going. And I'll still answer questions and stuff like that. And I don't take money when people call me, guys. So just watch the ads, Prairie Mark says, I missed a lot of your live stream. I was out eating shrimp and fish with a Spaniard, a Texan, and a Norwegian. This sounds like a joke, Prairie Mark. The shrimp were wrapped in bacon and stuffed with hot pepper. It was a new thing for me. That actually sounds pretty good, man. That sounds good, Mark. It sounds excellent. I like that, though. It sounds like a joke the way you're saying it. Let's see. I was out eating shrimp with a Spaniard, a Texan, and a Norwegian. Let's see. Kevin Nash's Kitchen. John Wales, I saw Commander Doubt at barbecue place that he was, and the chef had a big modern smoker with a stack of wood. That sounds interesting. Jay says, since you have an iPhone, is there Wi-Fi you can get there that is strong enough to FaceTime people and stream movies to? Yes. I watch Netflix on my phone sometimes in bed, but most of the time I watch my Mac. But I FaceTime my sister. I FaceTime a lot of people, actually. Smoky Mountain Mauler says, Kevin Nash's Kitchen, it was a place in Davao called Food RX. Okay. Let's see. Stanley Wolf says, I'm going back there on $1,150 a month budget, but own land and have a house there. Oh, that helps a little bit. That's not too bad then. But to live there here on that amount, I don't think that's a good amount to live on. I tell people $2,000 to $3,000 to be in the sweet spot where you can at least travel around and do things and go out to eat. I don't eat at first class restaurants all the time either. Sometimes when we go up to the Texas Roadhouse or something like that, it's good. We used to have Red Lobster. I'd eat up there. I used to go up there quite a lot, but I bought their their discount cards, and they paid off. Let's see. My ex-girlfriend, let's see, Edward Voss says, my ex-girlfriend Cebu asked some trans if I could take their pictures. They were very happy and posed for the pic. Let's see. Dickie Spaz says, there is a custom grill and pit smoker fab shop in Batangas. They build awesome smokers. I'll post back if I can remember the name. Kevin Nash's Kitchen says, if you are married to a Filipino and have the proper visa, maybe you can do 6 months here and there a bit easier. Probably. I would think so, yes. Let's see. We're over 95 minutes. We're about 95 minutes right now, but we're going to go a little bit further into this because we got a pretty good group on here tonight. We got 122 people. So I'll probably end in about 10 minutes, guys, just to give you guys a heads up. So we'll stay on here for about another 10 minutes or so, 5 or 10 minutes. And I'll answer some more questions on here, unless we hit the end. Joe Davis says, correct abbreviation for Philippines are PH or PHL, just for a heads up to some. Okay. Franz Xavier says, hello from Unterseen, Switzerland. Surrey Case says, do you think mental health would improve living there versus Canada? I feel so anxious all the time about work life. Well, you know, a lot of us that came from the United States, which is just a southern neighbor to Canada, you know, yeah, I would say it would get rid of a lot of those anxieties. It did with me. I mean, I'm glad I'm out of the States. I'm very thankful that I'm out of there, and with all the crap that's going on there now, I wouldn't want to live in the States right now. If I did, I'd probably move up to New Hampshire or someplace way out in the woods or something where I could get away from it all. And even then, you're really not getting away from it. It's still there, you know. The Traveling Hobo says, BDO wanted to charge my wife a fee to change branches. Same bank, different branches. That's crazy. That's the Philippines, though. That's the typical crap that goes on in the Philippines. Unfortunately, that's part of it. You know, that's why a lot of people leave. And, you know, as much as we love it here, the Philippines does have their problems too, and that's one of them. And you know me, I talk about that all the time, that the Philippines can be rough on some people. And for the elderly here, and for us older retirees, it's definitely rougher, you know. I mean, we have our days here where it gets very stressful. I mean, even helping some of the expats here and watching what they go through here. Just this past week, I mean, we've had a lot. I mean, I'm pretty patient, but some of these banks really get you revved up. They get you stressed out. When I was dealing with Darren, the new SRV holder, he was having some hard times with some things with the banking here. Philip Jones, I'm retiring next November. I have a nice nest egg until full Social Security. The older you get, the more difficult it'll be there due to infrastructure and heat, unless you can a taxi with AC. It's not. Actually, taxis here are pretty cheap. You know, if you live near, you know, in our town we don't have taxis too much, so we can hire a car with AC. It's not that expensive. And I tell people, you know, that's why you need to come over here with like 2,000 to 3,000. For you guys that are living on like the 1150, 1200, it's great if you can get used to the hot air and riding in jeepneys and taking buses. But some buses have AC, some don't. You know, but most of the buses do around here. But I mean, you know, you want money to rent a car or whatever. It's just nice to rent a car and have that AC blasting in the car. Let's see. Michael L. says, Batangas has the traditional bladesmiths. There we go. Philip Jones says, it's not easy, travels. Camilo says, we appreciate you being live with all the information. Greetings from San Diego, California. That's where I went to school in the service. I went to cook school out there. That's where I went to cook school. It was right out in San Diego. I used to go horseback riding right along the Mexican border. Let's see, Doug says, hit the thumbs up, folks. There we go. Let's see, RLV, Cebu Lechon is one of the best here. Even Manila people would order here. Let's see, Philip Jones. But I've been there over 25 times in the past 7 years. There we go. Kevin Nash's Kitchen, I think a smoker in the Philippines is uncommon, but bigger cities may have a few Western-style barbecue joints. I went someplace recently, and I can't recall where I saw it, and it might have been It might have been at the Venice Mall or something that I saw it, but they had like they were using wood someplace. I'm not sure where it was, and it was within the past month I saw it, and they were cooking over that, and they were doing ribs and stuff like that, and steaks too. I just can't remember where it was though. Michael L says, if you get an Android, get a Pixel. I bought a Samsung S21 and I will never buy a Samsung again, waiting for my Pixel 6 Pro to arrive. There we go. Craig Jordan, Tal Volcano is located in Batangas province. Okay, so it is. I always think of it as Cavite because it's so close to us, you know. But yeah, let's see. Because it's really, really close to Batangas, the town. It's not that far. Linda Faber says, hi, Steve. How about the crimes in the Philippines? Is it bad right now with the COVID situations and the lockdowns? No. You know, I've been really lucky as far as crimes here. I've never had a situation really that much with crimes here that like with stealing or anything like that. Never seen it happen. I know it does happen on occasion because I hear a little bit about it, but I'd never seen any. I'd never even had an attempt, I don't think. Well, one time I was in a store, I was in an ukay store, and there was just two girls that were eyeing my pockets, and my girlfriend noticed, so she walked over to me, and then they walked out. But we don't know that's what they were doing for sure, but that's what she said. But she might be right. And Jack Eisman says, I love my Apple products. Me too, man. I love my Mac. Let's see. John Wales says, RLV, I would love to find out. Hopefully we will open soon. I'm only 3 hours from Cebu City. Stanley Wolf says, thanks for all the info. You're great. I watch you every day. Take care there. Thanks, Stanley. I appreciate it. Michael L says, Apple is reliable. However, Android has better customization options. You know, I was looking at the Android phones today. They're like way ahead of Apple phones in a lot of ways. But as far as the looks and comfort and the folding phones and things like that, I think they're way ahead of Apple. It's kind of scary to say that because I love Apple, but Apple's fallen behind on a lot of things. I'm not sure if they're going to keep up. And you know something, we're going to come out with that phone that Elon Musk is working on. That's going to work through his satellites up there, and that's going to change the world. It'll probably wipe out Apple as we know it. He says he wants to put Apple out of business. So it's going to be funny to see what happens over the next 4 to 5 years, maybe within the next 2 years. But I think a lot of things are going to start happening because the Philippines wants to get that type of internet too. And if it does, the Philippines will move ahead in a lot of ways because they need reliable internet here. And the internet is not the best. It's good, but it's not the best. So let's see. John Wales says, Linda Faber, I feel safer here than I did in the U.S. I do too. I got to tell you. Katrina Kopp, Tal Volcano, thanks, Craig Jordan. Mary says, message retracted, so I don't know what you wrote. RLV, John Wales, trust me, I am from Metro Manila, and I would order Cebu lechon to ship to Manila for lunch here. There we go. Maximus says, is Grab cars available in your area? They are, but they take a long time to get here because most of them are coming down from Manila. I put it on my phone just to see if I could get a Grab, and it says yes, but it was like an hour and a half wait or something like that. And I put that I was going to go up to Manila. So yes, you can use Grab to do, but it gets expensive, because they have to travel to you and all that. But yeah, you can get Grabs. You can. But it's cheaper to rent a car for the day. And then you have it for the day for like $40. So that's what I say. Just treat your driver to a dinner or something like that. John Wales says, RLV, I believe you. Everyone says that Cebu lechon is the best. KM says, what month does the rainy season run there? The rainy season here runs from about April or May all the way up until December. Okay, December starts slowing down. Then you go into January, February, March, April. That's the dry season. So, and it's dry almost that whole time. You get very little rain during that time, And then you start it's during the rest of the time. It's sometimes you get like a full month of rain, and sometimes you just get rain every afternoon and sunny the rest of the time. We've had a good year this year. Dickie Spess says, Steve, the name of the barbecue pit company in Batangas is Barrow Pro. Okay, so it's Barrow Pro, guys. If you're looking for a barbecue pit. They do have a nice page on Facebook. Okay. Jay John says stress is at an all-time record in the U.S. now. Can't wait to get to the Philippines. I'm sure it is. I mean, I think it's stressful for everybody in the world today. Liam Blair says, I'm a permanent resident here in Cebu. I came here with nothing. I made it with lucky bamboo plants. I am a British Australian expat, Gulf War vet, 50 here. Montenegro is the new place I go. See, Randy Conrad says, I think you could live on $800 a month if you don't pay rent and live in the province, plus have a few thousand saved up. Yeah, you could. I mean, I'm not saying. I mean, I don't want people to get me wrong when I say that. You can live on 800, but you're gonna live like a Filipino, and a Filipino lives a lot different than an American or a Westerner, and they're living. I mean, when something happens in the family, they have to kind of hit people up for money and stuff like that. I mean, you're living very close to what a Filipino family makes. The average Filipino probably makes about $300 to $400 a month. So I mean, that's a couple. A married couple is about $800 a month. You know. Let's see. Kevin Nash's Kitchen. I think crime isn't a big deal most places, but I do have walls and fences. Yeah, I would have some sort of security by all means and have some sort of bars over your windows. I mean, I wouldn't leave my home alone for like 3 days or something like that if I didn't have bars on the windows. Just because. I mean, people know what you have, especially if you're a Westerner. And I would have deadbolts on your doors too. I have deadbolts on this door. Craig Jordan, the Philippine Info Channel. What are the ongoing advantages that keep you overlooking the disadvantages of living in the Philippines? Cost. I think the costs are incredible here. To be able to live the life that I live here in the Philippines is probably one of the greatest advantages that you'll ever get anywhere else in the world. I mean, there's other countries like Thailand, Vietnam, Cambodia, and a few other places that offer that. But there's other countries that don't offer some of the things that the Philippines has. I mean, yes, India has things like that, but I don't know if I want to live in India because it's a different style of living there, and it's just not as clean. Not to say that the Philippines is the cleanest nation in the world, but I think that the restaurants and the supermarkets and the malls and stuff are pretty clean over here. I mean, I've gotten food poisoning over here a few times, but I would say that the cost of living and the rent is probably the biggest plus over here in the Philippines. If you're in the Tracy Martirez, General Trias, Das Marinas area, rent is phenomenal here. You can't beat it. And you know what? We could probably absorb another 200 expats over here easily in this area. Easily, if not more, without prices going up, without even putting a dent in the prices over here. Wouldn't even, because they keep constantly building over here. So we got plenty of room to build, and they just keep on building. So the rents stay low. And they just keep building these places. There's always rentals available around here. Even on my street. We have 4 more going on up right now down the street. So, let's see. Your first actual Army cook. You're the first actual Army cook I've ever met outside the military. I'm not an Army cook. I'm a Navy cook. So, are you sure you're not a Navy SEAL cook? No, I'm a submarine cook. That's what I was. Just a cook. Nothing more. You know, nothing really. Didn't do any heroic deeds. I just flipped hamburgers, you know, and other stuff. So, let's see. All right, let's see here. Let's see what else we got here. Katrina Cup says MacBooks are by far the best laptops, but Android is the way to go on cell phones. Kevin Nash's Kitchen says, I used to love breakfast every morning in the Army, lunch and dinner. Had great salad bars, but the food was not as good as the breakfast. So, well, I wasn't in the Army, so I couldn't tell you. I was in the Navy. Philip Jones says, lastly, there's one thing in my day that is in my schedule, your vlogs. Your vlogs are by far the best info people can get before travels and retirement there. Most everything is spot on. Thank you, man. I really appreciate that. We try to cover everything with a different bend to it. I mean, you guys see by my vlogs that our vlogs are a lot different than most other vloggers because I just tell what I see, you know, and I think that helps you guys more than, you know, chit-chatting for like an hour or something or 45 minutes about a subject that you can get by in 8 minutes. or 10 minutes or even 5 minutes sometimes. I just try to make a quick vlog just so you can pick it up and give you a quick lesson in something. And I think that's the best way to teach people. I don't want to waste anybody's time. I don't need to pick up 45 minutes worth of ads or anything like that. I just tell people, if you want to help my channel, watch my ads, and I'll keep my videos short, and it helps me just if you guys watch my ads. And a lot of people really help me out with that, and I really appreciate that, because we don't put the Patreon. And if you guys give me a call, anybody that has ever called me knows that you can stay on the phone with me and ask all the questions you want, and I'll stay with you on the phone until you're done asking all your questions. You know, so I mean, and we do that for free. We don't charge. There's other vloggers out there that charge $45 an hour to talk with them about questions about the Philippines. We don't do that because we make enough money off the ads that we can, you know, we do well. And you know, and I like talking to you guys. I have fun with you guys. You know, anybody that's called me, we usually become friends. You know, so, and I help people to do whatever I can do to help them get in here or whatever. So, but I think we're going to end this now. We're up to 110 minutes, so this is pretty long. I'll read one more. Let's see. Elon Musk has a personal grudge against Tim Cook of Apple due to the events that happened when Tesla was 6 weeks from bankruptcy a few years ago. Let's see. How many shares of Tesla do you own? I have 16 shares. I actually did pretty good this week too. Let's see. And Traveling Hobo says, I can unlock my Apple products using my Apple Watch. No desire to give up all that up for Android. Let's see. But we're going to end right now, guys. I just want to thank you guys for watching tonight. And I just want to say that, you know, we'll be on here same time next week. If for any reason you guys ever tune in and I'm not here, it's because of the Wi-Fi. So what we'll do is, if I'm not on a Saturday night at 10 p.m. Manila time, then just tune in the week after if I'm not on here, because it's a problem with the Wi-Fi. Because every once in a while our Wi-Fi does go down. And it did happen tonight 5 minutes before I was about to go on, but luckily it came back and we were able to do this video, you know, do this live vlog tonight. So, but thanks guys. I really appreciate you guys, and we'll talk soon. And you know, be sure to watch the ads, guys. I really appreciate when you guys watch the ads. That does help us a lot here at the channel, and it keeps us from doing the Patreon and the super chat money stuff. I don't want to get into any of that, you know. Even if you just let the ads run and you don't watch them, I don't care. You know, at least if you watch one ad or more, it helps the channel. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Love you guys. Thanks.